Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 90 Degree Show, hosted by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. And here's your host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
Good evening and welcome to the 90 Degree Show. I'm your host, Joe Beard, and happy to be of service for you tonight. Today is November 1st, 2015, 5 o'clock on the West Coast and 8 o'clock on the East Coast. We appreciate all those listening in live, whether in podcast form, through iTunes, our website, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, listening to it on our YouTube channel, just all of our social media outlets, or wherever you are on the interwebs this evening. If you decide you'd like to so, then we appreciate a donation to the network. If you feel so in your heart, of course, just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. All right, thanks for listening tonight. We welcome you again to the 2015 season with the 90 Degree Show. We are happy to talk another year with our beloved schools, and this year we're happy to have a round table of experts, again, a round table of experts talking with us again on our show this year. I'll turn this music down a little bit. We have Rashad calling in later on, but I think this is Miss Christy Walker here on the line. Miss Christy Walker, is this you?
Yes, this is me.
What's going on tonight? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks again for calling in for another.
Glad I got this extra hour of sleep, you know.
That's right. Very thankful for that hour. I actually woke up around 2 o'clock, I think, and then saw, how my phone changed. I was like, yes. So that helped out. That helped out a whole lot. But yeah, thanks a lot again for calling in for week 9. A lot to talk about, a lot of other stuff we want to get into tonight. So let me turn down this music here so we can get into the introduction of our show. Tonight's show is brought to you by week 9. Okay, it's week 9. Sorry. Tonight's show is brought to you by Mr. Travis Johnson, Mr. JT85, Showtime Entertainment on YouTube, and AL.com on YouTube as well, and our beloved BandTube HD .com, BandTube HD. You guys know who that is out there. So thanks again for your footage. And again, we will definitely be talking about the beloved Magic City Classic, which is like our headliner on tonight. I actually got a chance to see South Carolina State for their homecoming, and I guess there was not a fifth quarter in the Magic City. Is that right? I didn't see any video of that. I guess because of the weather.
Well, I know that there was a zero quarter. That's all I've seen, and I mean, I didn't get a chance to watch the actual event. I was too busy doing other things with Halloween involved, but I do know that there was like a zero quarter, so.
Yeah, I got a chance to check that out. So, yeah, someone knows, you are happy that rolls into the next part. If you were welcome to call in and tell us what you saw this weekend, or to help us out with our analysis, or for us to hear what you have to say. Call in the number you see there on the screen, 718-664-6025, and we'll get you in here and let you give your 2 cents, if you will. Also, a lot of folks are calling in. You can listen to the show through your phone, calling in to that number as well. Still working on that screening process. Or, hey, we may hire a stereo man or a producer man to handle all of this stuff in the background. I know
or
there's
woman. Or woman.
a person or woman. That's correct.
Okay, yes.
I'm so glad you there to help me out with that. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
A great human being to come in here and help us out with the background noises or background cues and commercials. I know there's some dope studio people out there. But if you will, again, if some folks want to call in and listen to on the show, I may, call you in or whatever, but just let me know, and I'll put you right back there on hold so you can listen to the show for your phone. Also, you can check out the chat room. If you have a Blog Talk Radio account, you can log into the chat room and leave your comments there. I see a couple folks in there in the chat room already. So let's get right into it. I'll go ahead and mute Christy's microphone so we can get into our sponsors, so we can get into our show tonight. We want to talk about Magic City, those bands, and we want to get into some things first because Christy may be leaving towards the end of the show, but there's something going on at Howard we definitely need to talk about, and the Honda list came out. So we want to talk about that. We're going to throw that information out there first, get, Christy and I analysis on that. And then again, Rashad should be calling in here later. And you yourself can call in it as well. So again, thanks again for listening to the show. We hear from our beloved sponsors before we get week 9 rolling. So thanks again for listening.
Good afternoon. This is Dr. David A. Paget, the Director of the Geographic Information Sciences Lab at Tennessee State University, and you're listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
Having an anniversary party, birthday party, or better yet, you're about to marry that special someone? Liquid Effects Photography is the perfect choice to immortalize all your most special moments. With 10 years of dependable professional service that can deliver from the conventional to the best in cutting-edge technology and creativity. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography. We serve the entire upper Midwest and will travel further upon request. Come check us out at liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Or call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probates to band footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, The Edge One Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on Bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out Bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
Hi, I'm Julian Johnson, Hampton University graduate, and you are listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
We're back from the break. 718-664-6025. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show, Week 9, and we are also simulcasting. That's right, y'all, simulcasting like ESPN and them, simulcasting here on Periscope. So shout out to you. If you check us out on Periscope or follow us on Periscope, you can see how it is behind the scenes, if you will. Bringing you into the break was Alabama A&M, and I think that was Britney Spears, Snake or something like that. Not Snake, but yeah, it was one of those pop tunes, if you will. I really like how Alabama State sounds on that. Womanizer, yes. Yeah. I knew it was something like, like, man, you're terrible. You do so. I knew it was something like that. So, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Thanks, Christy Walker, bringing you back into the break. So, shout out again. Always appreciate your time. Know that you are busy, and we always appreciate. We're really excited to have you on the show. So, I want to give you the floor. So we could get into our first topic again, just letting the listeners know. We'll get into the analysis a little bit later on, but we'll get into a little bit more issues here in the front, so we get into the meat of the conversation while we have some of your time. So I'll give you the floor, Christy.
Okay, well, first of all, let me give a shout-out to all the folks that are on Periscope, because I have you on my cell phone, your broadcast, so I'm just checking you out, and I invited my people to Periscope. But anyway, what I wanted to say, well, there are kind of two big things going on in the HBC band world. First of all, we need to talk about the Honda bands that came out on Friday. So
right.
Let me just read the list of the final 8. Okay, we've got Alabama A&M, Alcorn State, Bethune-Cookman, Jackson State, Lincoln University of Pennsylvania, not Missouri, Pennsylvania, Prairie View A&M, South Carolina State, and Tennessee State. So those are the 8 bands that will be performing at the Honda Invitational Showcase. I believe the date is Saturday, January the 30th, 2016, in the Georgia Dome. Y'all know it's the same as last year. Nothing's changed about that. So first of all, I want to say, Joe, when are you coming to a Honda? How do you call yourself a self-respecting bandhead and not come to a Honda?
Wait a minute. That was to me, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was to you.
I know, right?
Why haven't you been to a Honda?
Oh, well, okay, so
what happened was
I had practice on the excuses that I could give you now.
Okay, but we all know they're tools of the incompetent, right?
I know, right? So I can't give you any tools. I honestly, so this is the real. It may not be the greatest. So now I think I am at the point now that I could actually go to the Honda and participate. But definitely there was, I guess when I was establishing the show, I was, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I don't really have an excuse. I guess
You don't.
You know what? Okay, I got one. I thought of one. My finances. I was working on developing the network, and I couldn't travel. That's outstanding. But yeah, you know what? Honestly, when I moved to California, I didn't expect, if you will, like the time difference. So of course, like when I moved out there, folks are like, "Oh man, how you gonna be when?" how you seeing your people and your family. I was like, oh, yeah, it's just going to be a plane ticket. That ain't nothing. And it's a little bit more difficult than that, with the time zone and the time off and all that stuff like that. Now I've accrued so much time, and it'll be here. Let me hit the applause buttons. I'm still working. I got to find, you know what? Shout out to my man, Chavis.
Chavis.
Shout out to my man, Chavis. Who's got the selfie stick. If I had the little selfie stick right now, this would be a perfect angle to do the little joint.
Yeah, it would, because I'm checking you out on my phone now. So
I know that would be tight if I could have this. My good luck ginger ale right here. Yeah. So, but let me get back into here.
Joe.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me just talk about these Honda bands. Okay.
Yeah. Let's get into that. Sorry.
Okay. So when the Honda results came out, everybody had something to say. So, they were saying this is going to be the worst lineup ever. Why they bring in these bands, blah, blah, blah. And, I've been to every Honda. I have not missed one. And I don't plan on missing next year. Hopefully, I'll be able to make it next year. So I've gotten accustomed to the people saying, oh, I don't want, this is going to be sorry. This is going to be the worst lineup. This blah, 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 blah. So I just let them talk. But really, I needed some time to think about it because when we got the results, it was Friday at 9:30 in the morning, and I was at work, I was in a meeting, I couldn't really process it. But now that I've had some time to think about it, I actually don't see it being a bad lineup because if you've been listening to what we've been saying pretty much the whole semester, none of these bands are, I would say, completely sorry. Now, I have not seen Lincoln of Pennsylvania this year, so I don't know. I don't feel like I can give a fair assessment of them. But Alabama, like I said, Alabama A&M, they're having a really good year. I think they sound very good. At least when I saw them in Charlotte earlier this season, they sounded good. I feel like Alcorn is having a good year. I haven't really heard them being, out of pocket or anything. I haven't heard too much of them saying, it's an off year for Alcorn and what I've seen was fine. Bethune-Cookman. Now, the way I feel about Bethune, they're clean. Their shows are clean. Their sound is clean. But they just bore me. I mean, it's nothing personal, but it's kind of what you're going to expect from them. You just know what you're going to expect from them. Let's see who else. So, like I said, I can't comment on Lincoln. Jackson State, although I don't think that they have had the stellar year this year, they are far from bad. They're far from bad, and you don't want to sneak up on a Jackson State. You know what I mean? You don't want them to sneak up on you. You never underestimate Jackson. I don't think, like I said, I don't think this was as good a year as last year for them, but I think they're still a good program. I'm ready to see the swole Prairie View A&M. I know they're going to swell up. They've been swole this year. It's not even that they're going to beef up for Honda, but they pretty much are swole. And, I've seen good clips of them. South Carolina State, this is the shock for me. This out of the whole lineup, I would say the one that I was surprised to get in was South Carolina State. Not even so much Lincoln because, I'm sure they have to bring in somebody that they've never brought in before. But I haven't been hearing a whole lot of good things from South Carolina State. The way that I see it, I know that they've had some personnel changes. I know Mr. Ellis is no longer there, and whenever a band has a new director in their first year, it always takes some time to, kind of get their footing. But I was kind of shocked to hear them. And then Tennessee State. Tennessee State, I've been saying this all year, I don't know what's going on with their program, but they are really doing a good job. I don't know, have they gotten some new blood, some new perspectives, but I think they are really sounding good this year. I've been impressed with their sound and also their song selection. So, all in all, I don't think this lineup is gonna be any better, any worse than any of the other ones we've had. People will say, "Oh well, last year they were saying, oh, this is gonna be the best lineup because it's all swag." And when people saw the shows, some did well and some didn't. Like some I can remember and some I forget. So I just really don't think that it's a I don't know. I don't think it's a bad lineup like people are saying. I mean, had you heard anything, Joe, from people about what they thought about the lineup?
Yes, I was listening to you or watching, or of course, reading our beloved Fifth Quarter, and of course, I said it, and this was something I was kind of hoping for. But I do know a couple people that agree with me, so I just throw it out there. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to see Miles.
Oh yeah.
If talent...
Okay. Yeah. See. Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
I wanted to even bring out a list of
snubs.
people who got shut out.
Snubs.
Yeah, snubs.
The snubs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Snubs. My snubs. Miles, definitely. I would say A&T on that list as well.
Yeah.
I would even was it Elizabeth City?
Okay.
Now I feel like they should have been the new band in. And plus, you look at this lineup, is nobody here from the CIAA? None. Which has never.
Wow, that's
I
a good
don't
point.
think that's ever happened. I don't think it's ever happened. And I guess it's none from the SIAC. I'm just looking through the line.
Whatever Lincoln is, because I'm not familiar with Lincoln like that.
I don't think Lincoln, Pennsylvania is in the SIAC.
Yeah.
I think they might
Southern,
be independent.
Right, it got to be Southern. Or I know that, you know what? Well, no, I don't think they are. That's Cheney. I'm thinking about, they like the PSAC is the Pennsylvania Sports Athletic Association. I know Cheney is a part of that because I went to graduate school in Indiana, in Pennsylvania there. So I don't know what Lincoln is either, but I'm guessing it's, some East Coast joint, versus Southern Intercollegiate.
I think they're independent.
Oh, they like Notre Dame or something like that,
Well,
like,
Notre
Dame Notre
is
Dame.
independent.
Aren't they?
Who are you thinking about?
No,
no.
You know what? Is Notre Dame part of the Big Ten now or something?
Well, they're in
their football team is.
They're in one different conference for football than they are basketball, I think.
Right. Yeah, I always thought that they kept being independent for football. So that's what I was making a parallel to. But yeah, I guess that's our point. That's our point. Since we know band has, we sitting here trying to, if you do know about Lincoln, please call us in and, break us down. Let us know what's going on. But definitely, you're right.
All my friends at first thought it was Missouri. They thought it was the Lincoln from Missouri. I was like, no, it's Pennsylvania. I think the name of their band is called the Orange Crush. And there was a guy I know that used to work with that program, but I don't think he works with them anymore. I think he has still good relationships with them, but I just don't think he lives in the area. So, they said CIAA? Okay, I'm getting somebody tweeted to me that Lincoln, Pennsylvania is CIAA. Okay.
All
right, that's news to me. Yeah, shout out to Marching 8 to 5 on Twitter. I really appreciate that person because they have a lot of good information that they send out.
I think that's usually Tyrone. Let's go ahead and give him applause. I think that's Tyrone.
Yeah. Okay.
Tyrone McCullough. Shout out to you, man.
Well, thank you for that. So, we do have a CIAA, but we don't have a SIAC person in there. I mean, SIAC program in there. I just feel, I think that's interesting. Like, Miles could have been in it, man. They could have. Well, anyway, I would say Alabama. I would say Miles. I would say A&T. I would say Elizabeth City. I feel like those would be my snubs. And I have to admit, I am surprised that FAMU did not get in. I'm very surprised. I think they were on the list to vote for them, and I don't think that they got in. So I have to say that's a shock because.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, finish.
They're a good program. They've got tons of alumni. I'm sure people are rooting for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are pulling for them. I bet if they were to come in the future, they would sell lots of seats. So those would be my snubs, I would say.
That's interesting.
So what do you think?
Well, I have to say I was happy that I saw the Boom get up in there. You know, I was happy about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
BCU again. I was like, well, okay. You know, okay. You know what I mean? Okay. I was happy to see Alabama A&M because, you know, they should get some highlight for progressing, you know. And, of course, you know, I'm always careful when I say bands are new because, you know, depending on some programs, they'll be like, man, we always been on the scene, man. What you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
whatever,
but definitely,
man.
I like what, you know, I play that careful. I like Alabama A&M being there. Alcorn, I don't really have a unbiased something to say about Alcorn. I've heard that they're good, but I've heard that they're like getting good for like 20 years now. So, you know, if they're there, that's good. So I would like to see how accurate they are. But I do have to say, the Boom, please show up, being a little bit, you know, some articulation. Don't roll into the ASU Alcorn realm, if you will. And ASU, Alabama State, is going to be there too, right?
Yeah. No, they aren't. It's just Alabama A&M. Which I'm shocked. It's
ASU,
not Alabama State.
Oh, ASU. Okay, no, I'm saying what I was looking at, and that's what I wanted to read from you. Someone, Super Villa, I guess INDW on the fifth quarter, gave his little analysis, and he said something about A&T, and he said that A&T, he wasn't really mad, but their sound has been shaky all season. So that was one thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, because I remember maybe the first couple weeks we did analysis in them. I think it was against Alabama A&M. And it was like, wow, is that really them? I guess, and it was early. Was that the SWAC championship this year? Maybe? No, the SWAC MEAC challenge.
No, that we weren't in that. That was another year. You getting your years mixed up, bandhead.
No, I know. But yeah, so I was like, yeah. So I agree. I definitely thought that was on point. I definitely just wanted to see Miles, and I think more just because Talladega was there last year. I think that's really my hang up, where they got in there so hard last year, where it's like, okay, now you should be coming with them. Elizabeth City, you said that was a sleeper. I think, honestly, when you bring that up, I would like to maybe see a representative from each conference, to be honest with you. You know, that's just something I would like to see, so you could also spread the names. Because that's another thing I wanted with doing this show, was just have folks know what, you know, historically black colleges, the names of them, and at least where they were. You know what I mean?
Right.
The more we start talking about Fort Valley State or, like, you know, Benedict, you know, we would know about it. So I was hoping that we could have something more like that. But definitely I saw people saying it was like the SWAC matchup, and but I don't know. I would like to see more diversity. That's one thing. Just me as a band head, I want to see the Johnson C. Smiths. I do want to see the Lincoln. So as far as my take on Lincoln, I'm glad that they're there, so we can stretch out the pool a little bit. You know, we can always probably throw Southern, Jackson State, you know, Bethune, FAM, all those in one category. And someone said, like, in their on the fifth, they were saying that they could have like different competitions, like a big school versus a smaller school or some type of divisions. So, you know, your Lincoln's not competing with Bethune, you know, per se, like right on that level. So I'm happy, but yeah, I would like to see more diversity. That's my thing.
Okay, I can get with that.
Let's see here. So, now I wanted to say, my last thing too, South Carolina State. While we're getting into that, have you seen them this year, Christy?
Yeah, I've seen clips of them, but I mean, I haven't really been impressed. But I mean, I've been giving bands the benefit of the doubt when they have a new director. Like, you don't expect them to be just like, you know, out the gate, you know, bringing it their first year. I mean, but I just really haven't been impressed with what I saw, but that's not to say that, you know, that they won't be fine enough. Yeah, it just may be all the changes going on. Because, I mean, when Mr. Ellis left, I'm trying to remember what time of year it was and what time of the year it was. It kind of felt like whoever the new director is didn't really have any time to prepare or, whatever. So, so that's what I would say.
Well, the reason why I brought them up is because I saw them just really fast while I have you. I saw them, since we're talking about them, and, this is, you bring this up when you're like, oh, that was the surprise to you. I saw them this year for their halftime, for their homecoming, and their heart ain't in it. You know what I mean? Like that halftime show, and it definitely was like quiet in the stadium. So like the stuff that went on in the off season, I guess it had some type of effect on them, and all the press that they were getting about, the school closing down, and even my man Jared Carter from HBCU Digest had an article about them, So, I was, and then they were small too, because when you think South Carolina State, you think Fam, Bethune, and like big and Nintendo people. You know what I'm saying? They were small, looking at them, it was a trip to just see how small they were. Like they were a new band, like they're like Norfolk, how Norfolk is now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm over it. I'm not over it, but I'm kind of over like. Well, first of all, let me just make it clear. I go to Honda for social purposes. Like the bands are just a nice touch, but really I go to the Honda to see people I haven't seen the whole year, kick it with my bandhead family, maybe check out some FIMU Alpha SAI things and leave. I mean, that's really my purpose. So, while I care about the lineup and I want it to be good, I think that I'll have a good time regardless. So that's just my attitude with Honda.
Okay. Well, I definitely would like to experience it, and since we have talked a little bit, I don't really have an excuse why I have not been over there. That's why I've got to try to make it happen this year. No excuse.
Well, I mean, when it is, and like tickets are cheap for that weekend because it's like a non-busy travel weekend. Like anytime in basically January and February, flights are more affordable because that's not the heavy traveling season. I mean, once March gets here and spring break, students and things get on spring break, that changes a little bit. But January and February, it's no time. I mean, it's no hard time getting tickets. So
yeah, so I need to make it happen.
We host a Skybox every year, and, we're going to do it again this year. Hopefully we'll sell out again, fifth quarter Skybox. So hopefully, you'll be able to get up in there and kick it with the band heads and analyze bands and, just talk and eat some chicken wings and just kick it, So
it sounds tempting. And I know that last time the Boom was there, the alumni, sponsored a press box. So I'm sure that they'll be doing the same thing. So, I need to make it. I need to make it out. So, as far as South Carolina State, I don't know. I just kind of wish that another band. I just kind of wish they maybe swap that out. I know I put on my Facebook page swap out Alcorn. That was just me hating. I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
I really kind of meant South Carolina State, just because like you said, all of those other factors affecting the program, putting them on the stage like that. I don't think that's right. You know what? I'm going to take that back. At first I said, swap out South Carolina State. But I want them to actually stay in because I don't think they're going to do such a great job, and I just want to be there as an Aggie to clown them. But who I really want out is Bethune-Cookman. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Bethune-Cookman, it ain't personal. It really is not personal because they've got a strong program. They sound good. They sound clear. They sound boring. Their shows bore me, and I just can't. I can't. I mean, let me just be honest. Like, that's going to be the part. I don't know where they are, like, in the lineup or what order they're going in, but that's going to be, like, the part I, like, use the restroom, freshen up, like, key in the skybox. I mean, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just it.
That's a really good point. And, I know, and sometimes internally I know the folks back in Jackson sometimes said that. We've definitely changed now, and, of course, our instrumentation has changed. So it is change is good, Bethune. I guess that's all we're saying. And we know that you have climbed to the elite, and you are there. Yes. But you can also flip it up. You can, like, be a little chameleon on us, like, saying flip it up. If we expecting you to run the ball, we stack in the box. You know what I mean? Throw the ball a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Put us on our toes. 314, somebody from the 314 area code, that's the STL. Just letting y'all know, somebody calling in. Just see if they want to say something. Caller from the hometown. What's your name? Where are you calling from tonight?
Joe, you know who this is, man. It's Terrell. I'm just listening in. I'm working on my grad homework. I'm just buying time.
That's what's up, man. How you doing, man? How's your week?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. You said what? Say it again.
I was just saying, how was your week?
This week has been going pretty well. My drumline was in the drumline competition here in St. Louis 2 days ago on Friday. We ended up winning first place, so that was a good plus. That was a good notch to add on our belt for accomplishment. So, that, man, just taking it one day at a time. We transitioning right now to concert season for our winter concert. We got maybe a couple more parades to do, and then that'll be it for the end of this semester.
Well, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. Mr. Terrell Stringer out there at Berkeley High School, but it's McClure South, right? McClure South Berkeley, Is that what it is?
That's right. Yeah, McClure South Berkeley. Yeah,
man. Hey, man, that was tough because I was like, dang, McClure South, like wow. But man, it's good to hear from you. Good that you're doing so well. I appreciate the support and that you listening on the show, man. We know you're gonna get A's and everything there, brother.
Yeah, make sure you follow me on that Periscope, man. I was trying to chat a little bit, I couldn't.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, I need to get like my man Chevis. Like my man Chevis got I had to think about it again. He got the little selfie stick and he be like moving and bye. So that's why I got to get. It's like way over on my little dresser thing. I can't even reach my phone now.
Okay, Joe. I was gonna say, Joe, selfie sticks are $10. Please tell me you have a selfie stick.
Yeah, I need to get one so I can put on my little table here. We advancing here in the Marching Podcast Studio, a.k.a. my bedroom. Shout out to you while you're looking out there.
Why don't you turn in your band head card? I'm just done with you.
But wait a minute. But you see, I got my little card table. I got from Walmart here. Hey, man.
You're trying to make it work with the Canada Dry. You're trying to make it work on the can. I saw it.
Hey, my good luck ginger ale. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a ginger ale, man. Folks just don't know.
So yeah. What do you think about the Honda?
Man. Well, okay. You want to say something about the Honda, Terrell, man?
You said, do I want to say something about the Honda? Oh, Lord.
Yeah, how'd you feel, man?
Oh, Lord.
Well, of course, I did agree with the comment about Bethune-Cookman. You know, of course, they were one of those elite bands that people looked up to, especially around 2005, 6, 7, but they haven't really added no flair. They haven't really took it to the next level. So I already know, I agree, it's probably gonna be boring. They might throw a curveball at it, but you just never know.
Right.
Jackson State, they sound got a little better, but with me coming from Lincoln University, Missouri, and we're not in the black HBCU conference football team wise, we're kind of one of those. I'm always gonna be a little biased, from the decisions, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. But Jackson State, I just hope their drum makers get better. They just.
They talking about you, Joe.
No, they drum majors. I always expect for them to really do better, but they haven't wowed me this year yet. They have not wowed me this year, but their sound has got better than how it was last year. Who else is in it? South Carolina State. I haven't really seen too many clips on them, so I really don't have too much to say about South Carolina State. Who else is in it? Lincoln University.
Alabama A&M.
What about Lincoln?
Lincoln, PA. That's another school that also goes under the radar. Well, both Lincolns, in terms of, their sound and people actually being aware of their band program. So I wouldn't mind, going down to Honda to see how their show turns out, because you don't see a lot of media footage on them.
Right.
Alabama A&M, they're pretty good. They're up on the come up. Those one of those bands that people sleep on. Actually, both of those bands at Alabama, people sleep on them a little bit, but they're gonna be pretty good. So I think they're gonna have a good show. Who else is in it? Am I missing anybody else?
Prairie View, Tennessee State.
Well, Tennessee State, they large, so they gotta come with it with some nice drill designs or something, because they over about 300 this year. So I think they're gonna do good. Prairie View, Lincoln we played them about 2 or 3 years ago. They okay. They're one of those swag bands that they're all right. Their sound is always not consistent with their sound. And I don't catch their arrangements are all right every now and then. But I think overall, I think the bands are that's gonna do good in my opinion. Of course, I think Jackson State's still gonna pull it off. I think Alabama's gonna do pretty well. And what's the other school? I think those schools I know that everybody expects to do pretty well in Alabama. So I just hope those other bands step it up, bring something to the table. But that's just my opinion.
That's what's up, man. We appreciate that, man.
No problem.
Well, yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and mute your microphone so you can still listen in. But you can hit me up on Facebook or Twitter or whatever.
Yes,
I'm live on those things. If you wanted to say something else, man, I'll get you on, man.
Okay. Yes, sir.
All right, man. 718-664-6025. Shout out to Janelle Bree. Said this is the first time listening. She said, "Great job, y'all." Thank you.
I know who that is. Shout out to you.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I say you like rules up. You know everybody.
Oh,
like everybody.
Come on, I just sent her the link to come to she's the old school fifth quarter anyway, so we go way back. So
okay, and shout out to Mr. Barney Smart, laughing at me, say he's gonna give me a tripod for Christmas. So I definitely appreciate that. Just putting that out there. I was thinking about doing the drum fill, but I put the applause because I was kind of serious about that one. That was tight. And then Tyrone M., of course, our man, of course, our music producer, arranger, keyboard, pianist, saxophonist, said that his snubs he wanted to throw out there: Miles, Elizabeth City, Virginia. He had Virginia Union with the dude.
Virginia Union. I see that. I can see that. Yeah,
with the baton, dude. Yeah, I wanted to copy him. I wanted to see him. UAPB, shout out to Terrell. Central State, he said shout out to Brother Key. NCAT, he said he wanted to see NCAT. He got Talladega up there. And
basically.
And Morgan State. That might be something.
Yeah, I could see Morgan State. I mean, I hope Morgan State. They're pretty big this year, and I hope they continue to grow because, like, I have a lot of love for Morgan State. There are lots of people that I know from that program. They were early supporters and fervent supporters of my site. So, give a shout out to Morgan. They all right with me.
I hear you. And Brother Smart says you were the first HBCU the band first lady. Just putting that out there, And, of course, Janelle Bree said, thanks. Shout out to you. So, yeah, shout out to all the people in the chat room.
Yeah, she's from Morgan State. Janelle Bree is from Morgan State. She played tuba. Have her call in. As a female tuba player, you got to represent.
That's right. Shout out to Mara Hall, Mara Jean, Crab of 94, playing tuba there. Her crab year in the boom. So I always love to hear when the sisters play tuba. And shout out to my crab sisters, Janelle, as well. Geneva representing Detroit, because everybody in their mama comes from Detroit and the Black College Marching Band world. So shout out to you, Geneva. Love you, crab sister, because we only had two of them. 97, we was brothers deep. It was only a couple craft sisters there at 97, so we all know all of them are. So thanks again for all the folks chiming in. We're close to this commercial break. I'll squeeze this commercial break, and then we got someone else in the call queue. We'll get to that. If you guys want to say something else again about the Honda, we'll do that after the break. While Chrissy was here, granting us her time, I did want to throw out one other issue, and about Howard, what's going on at Howard. And so I know this exit music here is going to be rolling up here in a second. So we're going to go to our commercial break. Thanks again for listening, and shout out to the person there in the 276 area code. We'll come to you right after the break. We'll pay the bills if you will. I'm going to mute Christy's microphone, mute my microphone, play these beloved sponsors commercials. Support these sponsors, too. We always say support the Marching Podcast. Go to our website. Go to the websites here of theedge1.com, Block Band Music, Liquid Effects Photography, and hbcubands.com, and, support them. Like them or, throw them $5, whatever. Support us if you will. Support everyone because it's the same dollar, and we all we got. We always got to stress that here, okay? So let's play the bills, if you will. Thanks again for listening. Week 9 of 90 Degree Show. Call in if you want to. We'll be back.
Hello, this is Duncan C. Gray, Director of Bands at West Charlotte High School and proud graduate of Winston-Salem State University. You are listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network. Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on Bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out Bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probates to band footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge One Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
What's going down, everybody? This is Dr. Johnny Goodlow Jr., former section leader of the Royal Order of Trump Funk of Jackson State University's very own Sonic Boom of the South, the #1 band in all the land. And you tuned in to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
Bama State Style, bringing us back in from the commercial break. Thanks again for listening, 718-664-6025. Bama State Style. I talked about it a little bit. I'm going to unmute this microphone. I talked about them a little bit this year. I hope you got some of the show. I didn't really care how the show was. I just wanted to support them. But I am also a reality show. I like them. You know, you throw a lot of those and I can get into them no matter what. So shout out to Bama State. Shout out to you guys for even having a show. I give you guys the applause for that. And, you know, we'll definitely get you guys back on the forefront. And I have to give you guys a shout out. It was, man, in that show, it was pretty innovative. I don't even know what they call, Chrissy. Excuse me, the little things that you float on or you ride, and they don't, like, you put your feet on and you pretty much just be gliding.
Hoverboard?
I guess that's what it is, but it's got the wheels on it. Is that what they call them?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, yeah. So the little hoverboard, and Bama State in their halftime show, their director came out on the joint, and yeah, and then the drum majors came out. And no lie, they got so much crowd participation from that. It was so loud throughout the whole show. That was the thing that jumped out on their video to me, was how loud the crowd was throughout their entire show, because they seemed to keep the mood. They didn't have too much of a difficult show. Alabama A&M had a harder show, and I thought they sounded better, but Bama State just had so much crowd love. They had so much crowd participation. So that was hard. So, just talking about them coming back from the break, Bama State style, if you will. Chrissy, did you get a chance to see the halftime show?
I gotta be honest. No, I did not. I didn't see that halftime show.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll get into
it.
I'll tell you about it. That was kind of just my synopsis, just in a nutshell, was just the crowd participation. Alabama A&M was good, and they had a more difficult show. It wasn't as precise as probably they wanted to be in their drill or whatnot. But it was so much. And then all Bama State did for their drill was just form Bama State style and then forming their other formations. I mean, they didn't do anything. But when the director came out on the joint and then he was going like with his arms out 360 style, people was like, So you can't, it's almost hard to beat that. So I'm sure that they got a lot of love for that halftime show. And then the drum majors came out there on them, but they didn't really do anything with them, so I thought that kind of hurt the show, but they had a lot of crowd love. So I just wanted to say that while you were on the air.
I have never been to a Magic City Classic, but I really want to go. I hear nothing but good things about the event, and it's so interesting because I don't know who I represent, because I have people who I'm close to representing both schools. So it would be hard for me to pick a side. I don't even know, but yeah, I've just heard good things. I've just heard good things about that battle.
Yeah. So, and I really like both bands. Both bands are loud and powerful, and they have their own style. So it's good that both of them are on that same level. It definitely makes the competition more interesting. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna get to this caller right quick, Chrissy, before we get into when we start talking about Howard. Person, thanks again for holding. The person from the 267 area code. Where are you calling from? What's your name tonight?
This is Neuro Entertainment, also known as Travis, calling from Dover, Delaware.
Oh, what's going on, man?
Travis!
Hey. Welcome into the show, man. Thanks again for calling.
Hey, no problem. Somebody called and said I had a shout-out that came out. That's let me call in and say hello.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I need your selfie stick, man. You know what I'm saying? I need the little joint so it can be a little closer to me, man. But really appreciate what you're doing, man.
And
when
Travis,
you get to,
Travis is doing some filming. He's doing some filming for us, going to different games and whatnot, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure I get out there for you guys and try to, get a whole different perspective on the fan thing, versus just watching from the stands. I'm trying to be more interactive with the crowds as they're watching them out and taking their first-hand opinion, on those games I attended.
Yeah, man. I really like the microphone too that you have. Right quick, because I know Christy's got to go soon. What made you start doing that, like, being like the correspondent, if you will, and then giving the viewers at home the experience there at the games? Because you go inside. Not only do you be following the bands, but you get, like, the interviews right there then at the game, too. So, what made you start doing all that?
Well, they said if you're driving, sometimes you got to make your own lane, and that's pretty much what I'm doing nowadays, is making my own lane, making a name for myself out there, because there's no one out there really getting, the commentation, from the bands itself, Everything is this new, YouTube era, but all you see is, stuff on the film, and then you hear people, replying with posts after the fact. Well, here I can get the stuff, you can ask me questions right then and there, and I'll ask those hard questions.
That's outstanding. Chris, did you have anything to ask while we have him on the air?
Well, Travis, I think you're doing a good job. I just want to say that. I think you're doing a great job actually getting out there, talking to the band directors, getting the inside scoop. I think you're bringing a lot of energy to our craft, and I appreciate that. Travis and I, we go way back. He's one of the original Fifth Quarter people as well.
And the sex to the back.
Yeah, we go way back. So, I'm just glad you're around and keep doing what you're doing.
Like I said, as long as there's a game that you need me to go follow, let me know, and I'll try my best to make sure I'm there. I know you had some questions earlier for Lincoln. I just had dinner with one of their alums, and the band director at Lincoln, his first year there as head band director.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Green. Yes. So I think that's the biggest house. The first year as a head band director, and then boom, in Honda.
Wow. That's good.
I didn't know that. I didn't know it was their first year. So you are more like the East Coast, man. So let me ask you if you don't mind, because I know I still want to do the chopping it up with you. Where are you from?
I'm from Philly.
Okay, Philadelphia. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, appreciate you letting me know that. And you went to Delaware State there.
Yes.
So I guess you could say you've been following, I guess, as much as possible, because you like more of like the upper East Coast bands. You know what I'm saying? That area, if you will. What have you seen so far, I think, is like the most promising band you think should be in the Honda from that area? Like, if you could, like, if we pick someone from different areas, because I was thinking, like, we should have something from each conference or something. From that area up there, like, that upper, mid-Atlantic area, who do you think should be in the Honda?
I mean, I would really like to have seen Morgan State actually attend it this year. They really did the thing this year. Out of the MEAC band, A&P's been A&P, is good, but I'm really, I'm not saying I'm tired of seeing them, but I like to see a better exposure from some of our other HBCUs that we have in MEAC.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what's up, man.
That's understandable.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I think, too, I definitely want to see if, we incorporate as many as possible. It's just like those classes when I hear, like, the Circle City Classic, they're doing the same two schools for 5 years. I'm like, I guess
really?
they know. Yeah, I think they signed a contract. Shout out to shout out to the Bruz. Jason Fullman, we actually chopped it up with him. I actually saw him last at a chapter meeting. He went to Kentucky State and went to A&T under the dual engineering program. And he was at A&T's homecoming as well. You might know him, Christy. Light skinned dude from Chicago, the Bruz. But he was telling me that that they signed a 5-year contract. You gotta give me more than that. I'll break it down a little bit more. Yeah, but definitely. But I got you on the line, man. And since we rolling into talking about upper mid-Atlantic schools, talking about Howard, DC, Philly area, not too far away. I guess I could get your 2 cents about it. But I'm gonna give the floor to Christy again. About this next part about Howard, and we wanted all the listeners to be aware of.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me just make it aware to everybody in the HBCU band world that's listening that Howard University's band they're on strike. If you go to Twitter and look up the hashtag Silent Showtime. So Howard is they're known as the Showtime Marching Band, and apparently students have not been getting their scholarships. They've been having big budget issues, and students haven't been getting their band scholarships that have been promised. So actually, yesterday's game, they marched marched halftime. They wore all black yesterday to boycott the university and to help make people aware and bring to light different issues that's going on with their program. And I actually saw that show. It's online. You can look up Howard's show from yesterday. But I think they were the first part. They were paying a tribute to somebody who had done something for the university, and basically the announcer. So they marched out there, whatever, did their little fanfare. The announcer said, we're going to bring a tribute to this man who did XYZ for the university, and he might have been, and let's bring out their family members. So they brought out their family members and presented them with an award or whatever. And the announcer said, well, really, I just want you to know the only reason why we're doing this is the only reason why we're playing this game is to honor this important man. If it wasn't for this important man getting honor, we basically would not be out here. And everybody was dressed in all black except the dancers, which I didn't know what that was about. But anyway, everybody else dressed in all black, and I don't know why Ooh La La didn't dress up too, but if you go on Twitter and follow the hashtag Silent Showtime, you can see some of the things, and you can read about some of the things they've been going through. I mean, I tried to go through there and read all the tweets. I mean, it's a bunch of tweets about it, but I think the big thing is that their budgets, I don't know, the powers that be, and I think this is probably the administration, not even the band folk, but they aren't getting their scholarships that were promised. And people were saying, well, you want us to go out here and perform and do all this stuff, but you're not giving us our scholarship, and, our budget is crappy. And so, bands, they boycotted in the past, but I don't know of any HBCU bands that have boycotted and to this extent, in recent years. I mean, it's escaping me. I mean, I can't think of any off the top of my head. So, I mean, it'll be, it just remains to be seen how long this boycott will last and what kind of implications it will bring. And, I know Howard's been going through a lot of things administratively in the past few years. So, I mean, I really wish that program nothing but the best because, they're one of us, and you don't want to see any of us fail or, any of our programs get eliminated or anything like that. So, I mean, I just wish them the best, and I hope that the band members and the administration or whoever is doing, you know, whatever, I just hope they come to some kind of understanding. But, you know, I'm just going to give them a shout-out because, you know, I'm for the band heads first. You know, follow Silent Showtime on hashtag Silent Showtime on Twitter, and you'll get to read what's going on. So, you know, sometimes Twitter will tell it quickly, you know, quicker than any other kind of mechanism. So,
right.
Hey, so that's what's going on with them.
Travis, man, what you think, man? The whole thing.
I honestly think it's long overdue because a lot of bands actually don't get the credit that deserves for them because marching bands are like the ambassadors of a lot of universities. They expect us to play at every little function, pep rally, parade, opening ceremony, closing ceremony. You know, the first thing you see when you come to a school is the band, and the last thing you see when you leave the school is going to the band. So, and then the first thing they take money from is the art, or they take money from the band budget, or they, you know, think, well, y'all don't need that much money. But those instruments and, you know, and those uniforms aren't cheap. And the more we sit down out there and practice, like I said, I tell you about any day, we see more field time than a lot of football players. And, you know, we get a full 10 to 15 minutes each week on the field, and you know, some players, you know, sit on the bench all year long. So, you know, but yet, you know, they don't want to pay us, or you know, not so much pay us, but you know, give us those scholarships so we can, you know, try to make those grades that we need. So it is like I said, a great band that makes, you know, for Howard, and you know, I'm surprised a lot more universities, you know, aren't trying to do that as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because that was my spiel on it. I was glad that they were actually doing something. Shout out to the IIOS. I posted that video on that page, and of course, you know, just trying to, you know, wake up some heads, but I guess, you know, it is what it is, but at least someone can do something. Everyone has the power to do something. Just like we're on this show, we have the power to build scholarships, or we have the power to build, you know, websites or forums or, you know, media networks. Everyone has the power to do it. You know, I guess that's another thing that I would like, you know, people to understand on this show, that we have the power in ourselves to change everything around us. The mechanism. Okay,
well, can I just say something? Because I'm looking up some stuff on online about, you know, the Silent Showtime and everything, and I came across this blog it's called the True One Project, and it's by a guy named Paul Holston. And so I'm just going to read a little bit of what he's blogged. So I want to, you know, make sure that he gets the credit because this is not from me. This is from him. He says that Terrell Tiandrebogo, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, he is a senior biology major at Howard and spokesman for the Silent Showtime movement. And he says every year the band is supposed to receive funding for both our organization's budget and student scholarships, as outlined by the contracts we signed long before the semester began. Not one single member has received any scholarship fund. And when reaching out to the administration, we have yet to receive any viable information on this status. And he says, you know, it's not okay when you have people out here trying to simply ask for answers and are not able to receive this simple request. The Showtime band members love what we do and have been very patient with the administration. And then they actually talked to Mr. Newsom, who is the director of bands at Howard, and he basically said that the action, this is a quote, the action taking place at Saturday's game was that of the students and not by the directors, said Newsom. So that's what's going on there. Yeah, so we'll see.
Wow, I mean, wow. It's unfortunate. This just like your girl here in the chat room. She said that was basically what she said. It's on Janelle Bree. She said that's unfortunate. That's basically the main thing I'm thinking about. I'm just glad they're bringing the attention to us, because I'm sure now, since, and now we're talking about it, it's put a lot of the alumni probably on watch, if you will, with a lot of folks. So we got another call from the 410 area code. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from? I'm sorry. Let me get caller. Okay, now we got caller calling from the 410. What's your name and where are you calling from tonight?
Hello, this is Janelle Bree, and I'm calling from Baltimore. How you guys doing?
What's going on?
I hear that chuckle, Crispy. I hear you chuckling.
How you
thanks
doing,
for
girl?
Calling in.
I am doing great, thank you. I'm definitely enjoying the podcast. I'm kind of far behind the times. I'm just kind of getting onto this whole podcast thing, but you guys are doing a great job. So let me start by saying that.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
We appreciate that. So I guess as far as our current topic of discussion, as far as what's going on in Howard, you have any of your 2 cents to talk about what's going on in Howard?
Yeah, I do. I guess I have a little bit of a different perspective. I served as assistant to the director at Morgan State for 12 years, so I kind of see this from a different vantage point. I guess if you're kind of in school administration, you see it, a little bit differently. It is unfortunate that the students decided to protest or, kind of go this route, because this really is a faculty. This is a faculty and administration issue. The budget is directly controlled by the band director. Most schools are set up so that the school gives you a budget. Boom, this is your amount for scholarships, and you have to administer that money. Now, let's say I'm the director of bands, and I'm not saying this is what's happening at Howard, but if they say my scholarship budget is $100,000, but in order to get kids to the school, I promise $200,000, they will block your budget, or some people are not going to get their money. So people have to look at the different layers that kind of happen within the university. I hate to say before jumping the gun, the kids, all they care about is, I need my money, I need my scholarship money. But that sounds like a little bit of a bigger internal issue that, I heard Christy Miller say this is the action of the students, but the action of the students can affect the director's job. So I just kind of see this from a little bit of a kind of a different angle, just because I've been on kind of the other side of things. And then we have to look at the fact that we're in a day and age where everybody wants a big band. That's the bottom line. But bands cost money. That's some serious money. And so inevitably, schools, a lot of schools want big bands, but the school funding can't support the band programs that they want, so they start making cutbacks so that they don't end up in issues, and I call people out like Morris Brown, some of the other schools that are having financial issues. It's directly related to us trying to over budget. A big band is wonderful, it's awesome, it's powerful, but you have to look at the money that goes into big bands. I've been on that side of it. Oh my goodness, the money that it costs to run a large ensemble is, you'll be very surprised. You're thinking about, with when I was on staff at the time, Morgan, I think our largest band in 2004 was probably about 150 students. A weekend trip, a bus trip alone, the cost for the buses were about $15,000. So that's one trip. So you multiply that by a whole season, by a year. Many schools just can't handle it. And then the other angle of it is, for every student that's on a scholarship, that's revenue that the school isn't getting. So you're not adding anything to the bucket either. So I think there's so many just layers to that it's kind of, when I say it's really unfortunate, it really is, because inevitably some heads are going to roll behind what's going on. If you don't like what your administration, your president's doing, you kind of got to get behind closed doors and fight for what you want, and try to leave the students out of it, even though they're in it because they're not getting their money. But, when students get involved at that layer, it just really messes things up a little bit.
Yeah, well, I seriously hope that it's like you said, I guess it's more about, having a big band. I'm not sure if that's what they want, because I know that, you can have a small band and y'all still be tight. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, man, I don't know. I'm hoping that, like you said, it's more than that. because like when someone's saying that they're not getting their scholarships, I'm sure that there's been like some closed door discussions. I wish we had someone to call in and give us, I guess, all the information. I'm glad you called in with your point of view, because definitely it's good to get all of the vantage points in the discussion, you know. But man, that's a tough one when you talk about like anything. I'm talking about like Jackson State or it's the band. I knew I was going there for the band in a lot of cases. So even Howard going somewhere, showing up at you know, some type of classic or showing up there, they could have the investment or the idea to say that, hey, we're going to get so much tuition or we're going to get so many students to come to our school just because our band showed up here. You know, we make a difference in some of these kids' lives just because of our presence. So I hope there is some type of, because you think about Howard too. You think about Howard. You know, Howard's got the money, and you know you always hear so much about Howard and Hampton. Like all these schools, you know, they got money, but to hear that their band is not doing so well, that's I definitely think it should be more of an ambassador type thing. Christy, what do you think?
Well, Howard has been going through they've been having administrative issues for the past few years. I mean, more than like 2 years. So, I mean, yes, of course, I definitely believe that, you know, I believe that administration should support the band. But what was said earlier about, you know, what Janelle Bree was saying about having, you know, the directors might have, you know, promised some students that, you know, something they couldn't deliver, and that's just so sad. Like, I would hate for that to happen, you know. I don't know. I hope all parties get it together.
I think this has been a little bit of a challenging year for Howard anyway. We played them in Chicago, and just sitting down and talking to Newsom about some things that they're going through. Their assistant band director has been, you know, out with medical issues this year, and they just had a few issues also that they just might need a moment to kind of internally just get a few things together. And I think all of our programs kind of go through that at some point. But, you know, Newsom has been there for he's been there for quite some time too, just like, you know, Morgan State's director and some others. And, you know, sometimes you kind of get to that, I hate to say burnout stage, but you kind of get to that, you know, let me just take a moment and reevaluate the program. And it really did kind of sound like from his conversation that he was kind of having one of those, like, wow. You know, and it could be your administration, when your administrators are not as supportive, then, you know, that makes it challenging. We hit that wall at Morgan State, but I tell you, a few years ago, but then Cookman brought their band up, and it kind of was an awakening moment for our administration. They're like, oh. And that made them start investing. So now you're seeing a boost in the numbers because the president said, hey, I want a little bit of a bigger program. So he started making some investments. So he might have to hit this wall in order for their administration to kind of see what they want, understand what they want, and kind of make the allocations for it. So I wish them well. I wish them nothing but the best. But this is it's challenging. It's unfortunate all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, hopefully, and hopefully, I guess the good thing will come out of this is the awareness, and hopefully, no heads will have to roll, like you said. Maybe just because we all saw this, some folks might get the pink slip. Hopefully, they won't, and maybe this is enough of the wake up call because I didn't know about it. And Christy, good thing having her on the show. She was able to let me know about it, so we were able to talk about it now, but. Maybe if there is some stuff going on where people are promising stuff, let's just get it out there and people need to pay for it and then let's move on and then make sure those directors aren't promising that same thing, in the future, I guess for recruitment issues or whatever's going on, I'm just glad that it got out there so we're able to talk about it. I really appreciate that you calling in, giving the different perspective because, Chrissy and I, we were about to go in. We were about to go get fired up. No one was going to calm us down, and we was going to shut it all down.
You know what? So. You need to speak for yourself, sir. You need to speak for yourself.
I'm speaking for myself. That's right. Christy's an admin, too. I forgot, Christy. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here on the West Coast just high posting. My bad. I'm speaking for myself.
You know what? You just full of excuses. You got this going on. You won't ever go to Honda. You know, you got all the excuses. But I told you they were truly incompetent. I told you.
I know. I probably should stop. So hey, we appreciate it though, Miss Janelle Bree, your time. I want to go ahead. Chris, do you have anything else to say? I guess we wrap this up, getting close, I guess, to the last segment here. Before anything else, do you want to close out this topic with?
No, I think I've said all I need to say. I just, just getting ready for the Skybox that we're going to have, the fifth quarter Skybox, like we've been doing for several years now. And, I'm just ready to, hear what people bring in for the rest of the season. Oh, I also want to say that, it's week 9, right? So it's to the point that, like, bands, so you know how it is, like, in the football season, you don't know who's going to rise to the top until, like, week 5 or 6. And I think it's pretty much set what bands are having a good year and which ones aren't. So just kind of keep that in mind. It'll be interesting to see what happens the last little quarter of the season. This season's gone by quick for me, though. I don't know about you. It's gone by quick.
It has. I mean, just typing, like, just setting up the show and everything, and just, like, typing week 9, I'm like, dang, that's just, like, we basically, like, a month down, basically. I know that, like, I take a good, nice little break in December, like, for the show. I think, just because not everyone has, like, a conference championship, and a lot of times they're on the same weekend. So in December, we get a little bit of a break. And let me just go ahead and just give the applause to you, Ms. Walker. Thanks for being on the show with us this year. And I always shout out to Rashad. I know he's busy. I know he said he's at I think, like a Bandsman Association conference tonight. So
right.
But yeah, it's hard. You're working. Especially, you got multiple jobs, and then you call in, especially for you East Coast folks, I'm looking at my clock, it is 9:23 over there. That's super, super late, boy. So we appreciate all the folks that listening live, or just the folks that's up. Because 9 o'clock for me, is like droopy time. Like, I'm out 9:30. I mean, 10 o'clock, on a school night, that's lights out for me. So we appreciate all the folks that's up. Supporting our craft, if you will. Shout out to Barney Smart, too, and shout out to the folks. Brother Warren, shout out to Mario Warren in the chat room. And again, shout out to Janelle Bree. She definitely had a very good 2 cents there. There's nothing on TV, so why not? Oh, yes. I guess that's good and that's bad. Because you broke my heart, Janelle Bree. If you're saying if it was something on TV, you'd be like bumping us, but it's all good. Who knows? Well, it's all good. I know what you meant, so we appreciate the call. 718-664-6025. We're getting here to the end of this last segment. I know our exit music is about to come in. Chris, I know that you have something to do, have something going on, so we appreciate your time. Anytime that you're allowed to be on the show, and really good talking tonight. So anything else before we sign out before the second commercial break?
Oh, nothing else. Have a good and safe week.
All right. Well, I sure will. You have a good, blessed week as well. Thanks again for calling. I'll be hollering at you throughout the week. We wrap up towards the end of the show. I definitely will figure out what we're doing on in December, and I'll let you know.
Okay.
All right, thank you. And if you're on Periscope, I'm giving you the thumbs up there, Christy. Thanks a lot. All the folks, thanks again, Miss Christy Walker there, the owner and founder there of the fifthquarter.com. We'll go to this last commercial break. I'll spit out really fast. We already had our little talk, if you will, but I'll spit out really, really fast. About what I saw with the Magic City Classic. Shout out to Alabama State and Alabama A&M for a wonderful classic. And a little bit, I think I said it about South Carolina State, but I'll spit that out in the last segment. You're welcome to call in before we wrap up the show. Thanks again for listening tonight. Week 9 on the 90 Degree Show. We'll be back.
Hello, this is Brenda Henty, teacher at Emmanuel Lutheran School in Olivet, Missouri, and proud graduate of Concordia University, Chicago, Illinois, 1987. You are listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from pro bass to band footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge One Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Need to write music and drill? Get it on the field. Outfit your band. Keep your administrator happy and still have a life. Encountering drama in the process, ain't nobody got time for that. Let Block Band Music assist you with musical arrangements and drills to fit your band, and also the equipment, gear, and accessories to keep the visuals, music, and marching on point. Contact blockbandmusic@gmail.com and see how this worldwide minority-owned business can uplift your band.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on Bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out Bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
This is Warren Shaw, Chief Arranger and the voice of McClark Atlanta University, Mighty Marching Panthers. You are listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
We're back. 718-664-6025. That is Bama State bringing us back from the break. I really, really love whatever that was. You know, I usually don't know the names to the songs unless it's like super, super obvious. But that song, I was like, yes, this is what I want to hear. So 718-664, the 90 Degree Show. So it was the Magic City, Right Fast. I'll just throw it out there. They had a zero quarter, and I don't really like to say who won the zero because it looks like the bands are like warming up to get ready, if you will. And, you know, some directors seem to have their band ready when they get into the stadium. So maybe that's a theory or a not technology thing, but that's, you know, a philosophy type thing with the director. But still like to talk about it, though. Bama State seemed like they were warming up. So I saw the clip where Alabama A&M, this is from BandTube, so shout out to BandTube. Alabama A&M was playing a lot more in the beginning. And the song that Bama State plays was the one that we just heard. That's when they woke up. So I like that song. It was super hype. But that song you were listening to, they finally had playing that like towards the end of the video that we were watching of the zero quarter. Alabama A&M, however, was playing first, and they were pretty much, you know, shooting out the darts. Hey, what's going on? We ready. So basically, looked like, again, they were more ready when they got to the stadium. A thing too, Bama State, just a little vision, something I saw. You don't need the 4 drum majors in the middle, like directing. I've always seen having the multiple drum majors in like various parts of the band, so that every part of the band is able to keep the tempo. Having the 4 brothers like right there in the middle, it's like obvious when they're off. And that, like, it definitely is like a visual thing where you watching your band from the 5th, and maybe that's the setup for that, where they were that weekend, but they were in that straight row, like right behind each other directing, and a lot of times they weren't keeping the uniform with one another. You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, maybe y'all need to spread out or just get in different parts of the band so that you guys could keep the tempo in different parts of the band so they could keep it with the director. It was kind of distracting, you know what I mean? That's just something that just jumped out at me, and especially when like they were off and not together. As far as the halftime show goes, I felt it hurt Alabama A&M to go second. So hoverboards, hovercrafts, whatever they were, Alabama State went first, and they got hella house. With the director coming out there, he rolled out there, had his arms out like the scarecrow, and did the 360. And people was like, you know what I'm saying? And it was tight. I mean, you know, seeing the brother out there, the older brother, the older gentleman out there doing that, I was excited. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, that's really cool to see that. And then the crowd was so loud. That's what I was telling Christy earlier. The crowd was just so loud during that performance. You know, it just jumped out at you. It was so hard as far as, let's say, who won or who didn't. It's going to be so many people talking about Bama State and the directors. Call it a gimmick if you want. But, man, they had so much crowd participation, and they seemed to keep their attention throughout the show. So you have to give it to Alabama State for that, and they didn't have a complex show. They did that. Then the 4 drum majors came out there on the board, and they didn't do nothing. So I was like, I thought y'all going to do something on the board. So they came out. Maybe they were younger with it. Maybe they, you know, I don't know, give each other a high five on the joints or something. I don't know. But I thought maybe their salute was going to be on the boards. Now, that would have been ill. Or like if 2 of y'all were doing one thing and then 2 of y'all got off to do something, then switched it and then got back on, and then 2 got off, or 1 got off and did, or he had a flash off and on. I thought they should have used the boards more, but they got enough crowd attention for what they did. Again, you have to give it to them for, you know, the creativity. That's one thing we've been talking about on the show, and people hating on the internet, is the creativity. So they added that definitely with the show. So shout out to them for that. Bama State just did form Bama State style, and that was it. Other than that, they did Purple Rain. Oh no, they marched and they got in the Prince formation, or his name. You know, like Prince. Like, he ain't Prince. I don't know if he's Prince or if he got back to being Prince, but he just like a name. Y'all remember on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where Ashley was messing with the dude she found at the mall, and the brother came home, and Uncle Phil, he said, "What's your name, son?" And he said, "This." I love that part. My man pulled out the little joint on the card. He's like, "I ain't got no name. It's a symbol." You know what I'm saying, Uncle Phil? So they got into the symbol, and they did their thing and played Purple Rain. What kind of struck me was that, like, as soon as I hear Purple Rain, I think of Southern. So not to say that it wasn't good, but Purple Rain, I was like, oh, y'all came with something that we kind of already heard, like the creativity, the innovation. I maybe wanted to hear something else. But, you know, going into that formation I thought was tight, but maybe something other than Purple Rain, something that we already heard. We know, like, when you hear Purple Rain, you just kind of think of Southern right now in this era, you know. So I thought that was good, but I thought they had a good show, but their crowd carried them. Or, I mean, the crowd in the stadium, because they were so hype for that show, that carried their show. And I thought it was basic, but, you know, gimmick or not, they had the crowd. A&M, I thought, sounded better. They're much more clear like shout out to Dr. Davenport and his musicality. Brother Warren, Brother Wright, they're doing the musicality thing. So they are sounding good. They even have power with it, which is like, man, that's like, they doing pretty good. They trimming the fat, if you will. Their drill wasn't as clean, I'm sure, as what they wanted it to be. But the thing that jumped out about their show, it seemed like they had a lot of holes in the show, or maybe some people missing, or maybe some adjustments or whatever. So that jumped out, and just the rotating diamond wasn't, what they wanted it to be, I'm sure. But other than that, I like they added the Death March. They put the Psycho. They had more of a Halloween-themed show. So A&M fit the holiday. They fit the pulse of the stadium. They fit everything that was going on. So I gave them props for that. It's just they were not as loud. So it's like when they got on the field, unless they came out there doing like something crazy, they were not going to wow that crowd after what they saw. So it was hard for them to get up. You could tell they still had a good show. And they came off the field cranking, So I really, really liked their show. This one was hard, though, to say, like, who won, because you know how I am with, like, gimmicks or singing. Or wait a minute, did somebody sing? No, that was South Carolina State. I'm confusing my bands and all that. But, it was hard. And I think Bama State's from the back. So I have to, this one was tough, man. But I just really liked how they were able to keep the crowd's attention. They used the hoverboards for the director, but I'm minusing them because I wanted the drum majors to do more with them. So, they had that gimmick working for them, but they were able to keep the attention. So, like, part of me says Bama State because of the crowd reaction, but I think, man, Alabama and A&M had a better show. I can't say that. Okay, so I'm getting it together. Bama State had a better show. And Alabama A&M had a difficult show. They sounded better, but they didn't execute like they should. They didn't execute to the point of like they should. So Bama State got a lot of like crowd points, a lot of house points for that performance. We probably already know that, they will probably get Bama State in the stands because, Bama State's, lack of clarity or articulation, if you will. But we would have to see that. But I still think maybe they just had so much crowd participation. You can't hate on them for what they did, even though they should have done more with the drum majors. If you're welcome in, let us know what you think. 718-664-6025. Janelle Breed, 0 quarter is good if your band is ready. NCAA rules are getting more and more strict about band playing during games. She is like the books right now. She is definitely letting us know how it is on the other side. So definitely shout out to you. Appreciate you listening to the show. And shout out Christy for, tagging her and letting her listen to the show. And definitely that Fresh Prince episode, yes, it was the bomb. My man, especially I got a daughter now. Some knucklehead come up in there and be like, this, Mr. Beard. I was like, man, you don't get. So, yes, I going on a tangent. But right quick, too, we got about 20 minutes left in the show. I got a chance to see South Carolina State. Someone else from the 267 area code that might be. I'll shoot it here. Well, you know what? Here, let's go ahead and let you in here. Call from 267. What's your name? Where are you calling from tonight?
Oh, it's Chevitz calling back in. I had to call out real quick.
That's right. That's what I figured. Do you want to listen to the show, or did you just want to listen to it through your phone?
Either or. Maybe you have any questions or anything I can chime in on, I will. I can still answer.
That's what's up, man. Okay, that's what's up. So let me ask you, man. Have you seen South Carolina State this year?
South Carolina State, no, I have not. That was they didn't come up for our homecoming, and of course, they did beat us, but I have not had a chance to see them this year at all.
Well, yeah, that's definitely kind of rolls into the whole thing. The new director. We were talking about that earlier. It was huge as far as seeing them out there. I'm glad that they were out there. a lot of stuff in the off season about, they were going to shut the school down, and, they got a lot of drama on there. The main thing that jumped out to me on their show was just it's on their mind. It is on those students' minds, all that's going on. That was like the biggest thing that jumped out at me. And like Christy said, we can't necessarily break down everything especially when it's in a new director or with a new director. But man, it's definitely affecting those students, all the stuff that's going on. And you saw it in the performance, just to me. Like, they're definitely small, not, small in what I'm used to, but just not the heart and the energy into the show. So it was a trip to see that, and sad to see that because, South Carolina State is so huge, especially South Carolina State has, like, the best, one of my best band stories there marching at Smith, where they slept on us and we crunk on them, all 85 of us, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of sad to see that, but again, it's that same theme that we have in this discussion about this year, supporting our schools. And then, like Ms. Bree is talking about, having the administration support, being on the same page with the administration. It's definitely something that I guess the listeners to this show or us that care about the craft, something we should be paying attention to. But definitely making sure that we putting the right people, in the spotlight, making sure if there is something going on, you promising something or you doing something, we need to know so we can, kill the virus, if you will. We can purge ourselves, But it's just something it was on my mind. I had to throw out there. I watched it. Shout out to you, Travis Johnston. I saw the show. It was kind of similar to when I saw Smith's show last week. I was just like, man, like, we got to do something, or I feel like we got the power to do it. So let's go ahead and do something about it. So that's all I really wanted to say about South Carolina State. Travis, man, I'm glad I got you on the line. Is there anything, while I got you on the line, anything that you have coming up, anything that you want the listeners to know about in the upcoming future, anything that we should be, turning our ears to?
Well, right now my calendar is pretty much completed for this year. I was debating whether to go to the Bayou Classic this year just to see how the Milrose show, which I saw, both sides of the 50, would actually, play out on, how I do my commentating. But I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to make that a performance this year or not. But everything is still up in the air. If I find the right plane ticket and I find the right connections, I will be there. I
heard that. I definitely excited about that. Are you planning to be at the Honda Ballad of Bands this year?
I think this is going to be my sit-out year, actually.
Okay.
I went to, the Chicago Classic this year, and I did get a chance to go, to the North Carolina versus Virginia Battle of the Bands. And, I've seen a lot of those, bands already, so I'm thinking I might sit out this year of Honda, and I'm going to wait for 2017 to make my appearance again.
Okay. Well, I definitely will be sending you the link so we can set up the time for our interview. Could you give the listeners, all your information out there, your social media, so they can follow you and follow what you're doing?
Absolutely. It's Milrose Place, MILROSPLACE, on Instagram, and also on on the Facebook. Actually, it's just Facebook nowadays. But yeah, you can always find me at Milrose Entertainment. Basically, my whole thing would be Milrose Place or Milrose Entertainment, and that's how you can find me.
Okay, sounds good. I sure appreciate you calling in tonight, man. Like I say, love what you're doing, man. That was kind of my thing when I started doing the network. I was like, man, I know that we should generate some money where we've had the money, we send it out to the people that are at the games, and then doing exactly what you doing. I was like, man, this is the bond right here. So hopefully, man, we definitely get together, and who knows, man, we starting to putting some money in our pockets for what we're doing. But that's something that's the goal that I'm shooting for. So people like you and all the videographers that are able to give me the vision while I'm over here in California, putting some money in your pocket and changing lives. Who knows, developing benefits so we can have kids and stuff like that, man. You know, all of that stuff, man. So we're working for it. We appreciate what you do, brother.
Oh, and I love what I do. You know, I said, protecting our craft, preserving our history is, you know, something that's always been in my heart. Especially for being a fifth quarter head a long time ago when we had our very first NLBH that on a cruise ship. You know, these are things that Christy thought that she wanted to do, and you know, her and Mike Lee, for fifth quarter since 1999. So that's sad. So it's like it's very dear to our heart, and want to keep that whole history going because without us, that it'll be nothing but YouTube videos and everybody wants selfie sticks, right?
Right. Yeah. That's what's up, man.
But I will say this though, when I did go to the Virginia versus North Carolina, I would like to get more feedback for those listeners out there who were able to see some of my conversation. I was actually, like I said, in the crowd to get those audience reactions, but I think it's very important. But there is more that you'd like to see or the questions you have. Tweet those out and let me know because I'll ask the band director right then and there while I have them on the spot because I'm just that type of person. If you want to know, I'll find out for you.
Wow, that's actually really cool. So you guys definitely follow him on Periscope or Twitter, and make sure when we're watching a lot of those clips live, shoot out an actual live question to the radio. That's actually outstanding. But definitely that interactive. That's what I'm so excited about Periscope. How it's right live, and I don't have to wait, to that night or early that morning for Tyrone or for Barney or somebody to upload that stuff to YouTube. I got it right then and there. So really excited about that. So then that's really cool. You have that interaction right there as well. So shout out to you, man. We'll definitely be supporting you. And, you're welcome to call on every week, man. You definitely got a spot on the show, man.
Well, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the love that I'm getting. I feel great.
That's outstanding, man. Outstanding. Thanks again for the call. 718-664-6025. We got another caller here before we end the show for the night. Someone from the 334 area code. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from tonight?
Joseph Beard, what's up, brother? This is Boring Smart. How you doing, man?
Oh, what's going on, man?
Oh, man.
334 area code.
Yeah, I'm in Montgomery, brother. I'm in Montgomery, Alabama. So I just got in maybe about an hour and a half ago, maybe 2 hours now, coming back from the Magic City Classic. So I'm dead beat, man. I'm trying to recover before I go back to work tomorrow.
Right,
Reality
right.
sets in.
Right, I know. That's something, man. Well, that's outstanding, man. I know I've been talking to you off script or out of the studio, so we definitely make all that information happen. But I sure appreciate the support and what you're doing. But definitely, man, we're definitely gonna be building some scholarships. And letting all the viewers know, always be looking out for that National Signing Day show every spring. Oh, yeah. We make it around April, around the time of the NFL draft. So usually the draft is that Tuesday or that Thursday. We'll have on Tuesday. So it's always that week. And then you guys will hear about some new young minds going to march for our schools and helping to support those programs. Right. And I know that you guys will be a part of it.
Could you imagine all the decommits and then if you watch all those kids that commit and then they decommit the week before National Signing Day, that'd be crazy.
Man. I know. That's but that would be something else. We'll be having all that press about all those schools. You know what I'm saying? It'd be definitely something to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Just think about how many kids that had committed to Howard now they decommit and want to go someplace like Morgan State now.
Right.
That's something to think about. That's especially what's going on right now. That's pretty crazy. So I'm just listening to what Chrissy was saying. I was actually blown away. I was like, wow, that's unreal, and it's sad, but the reality is to it, the young lady who was on there earlier was talking about, it's a reality of it, man. I mean, you think about how much these schools get, and you think about, the program and I was just talking to somebody just yesterday when I was in Birmingham. It was a high school band director who used to be in the college realm, but they were talking about, those bands who have a lot of kids, and it's expensive for them to go on those trips. You think about the buses, you think about the food, you think about, God forbid, they got to stay overnight, so you think about the room and board and travel, so those bigger bands, they had to look at their calendar at the beginning of the year and say, okay, this band came to us last year, so we owe them the respect. Let's go see them on their homecoming or wherever they are that year. We owe it to them. They came and saw us, so let's go see them. They look about how long that trip is going to be. That's, and those smaller bands, I'm not saying they can't make it, but they have a better opportunity to make those longer trips or those trips because it's not as much money put it into those smaller bands as those big bands. But every program is different. So that's the reality piece of it, man. So they brought something to me, and I was like, wow, I didn't I never even thought about it like that. So it brings a whole different element to trying to understand how the program works. So you think about if ASU or Bethune-Cookman can go see all these bands, and I don't know how true it is. Someone sent me a message on Instagram, talking about Instagram, but on Facebook, saying that I don't know how true it is. I ain't even trying to start nothing, but they're saying like Southern was paying other bands to come see them. I don't know how if that's true or not, but it might be a bunch of hogwash. But I doubt it. But you got to think about it. If it's somebody they're looking for somebody to come in, hey, we'll pay for your band program. Just come see us on our homecoming.
Mhm. I mean, and man, and when you think about it, I mean, it really is us, as far as like how much money we're putting into each program, as far as how that program goes. I mean, it's on us, really. That's the big thing. The crazy thing, I swear I will keep beating my head against the wall about is when I hear coaches for the football team in negotiations with the agent for buyouts. And the buyouts don't be like $80, yo. It don't even be like $25,000 for winning a hand of blackjack in Vegas, right? It's like $3 million.
Right.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? And then they say, "Oh, the booster came up with what?" So they in their little room, they ain't even got a podcast, yo. They just sit in the room smoking cigars and cognac, and they like, "Yo, go ahead and raise the money, take the taxes out of so and so, and give it to old boy so we can have a football team next year."
Right.
Wouldn't it be great to have? Wouldn't that be great to have that for our programs? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. That's you know what? That sounds like SMU. That sounds just like SMU several years back. Several years back. But yeah, man. I was I'm trying to touch up as much as I can on what you guys talked about tonight. I was at the Magic City Classic, and I'm praying to God I don't get sick, because brother, when I tell you, I was in the midst of it. I was in the midst. I mean, I was in the end zone, right behind the goalpost, set up tripod and everything, and I'm listening to dead in the end zone, what I call the smack area, which is where, one side is ASU and the other side is A&M, and they're sitting right in the middle between each other, going at it back and forth. I can hear them, but I was right there, and then I saw the marching in. I got footage of marching in on both sides, and I got the zero quarter, I got the halftime, and I got part of the third quarter, and then here Mother Nature said, you know what, time for me to come out and give y'all a little taste of some rain. And she came out in full force, and she held no expense, man. She let it out, and then and both bands stood out there for almost to almost to the end of the game. A&M stayed to the end of the game Alabama State left maybe like 5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
And they just hit it. They just hit it. So now I was like, look, if I can stay out here with electrical equipment, y'all can stay out here too.
Right.
I don't see no lightning bolts. I didn't see no thunder. I'm out here getting soaking wet. I didn't have no poncho on. I didn't have no hat on. Let's go.
Wow.
So I was ready to go. So and then A&M played their fight song, their school song, and they packed up and left. So no fifth quarter. The zero quarter was it was like, okay, it's like, put it this way, it's like two boxes, round one. They moving around the ring. They trying to do a couple jabs here and there, trying to feel out what's the stance. How far can I reach? If I can do a little soft jab, a hard jab. You understand what I'm saying? They're just trying to feel out their opponent
right.
at the time. It wasn't
right.
It wasn't no haymakers. It was no, hey, I'm going to throw a right hook right now. I'm just trying to feel out my opponent right now. That's all it was. Halftime, I'm going to tell you something, man. I've been in the band a long time, and I've seen a lot of gimmicks. But this is coming from someone who marched at A&M now. That little, and what they came out on was called a Skywalker.
Skywalker, that's what you were saying. Okay, yeah, Skywalker.
It's a Skywalker. When they came out on that, when Dr. Oliver came out on that Skywalker, and he came out on a pink one for the breast cancer. Both bands did their salute to breast cancer. So Alabama State had the pink plumes, and A&M had the pink gloves, and the drum majors from A&M had the pink spec. So shout out to both programs on doing that for supporting breast cancer. I appreciate that. That was dope. But when they came, Oliver came out there, and he came out on the 50, smack in the middle of the logo, spread his arms around and did it like a 360, and then he had his baton in his hand, and he blew the whistle and bring the band. He blew the 4-count whistle. Next thing you know, you hear the snare drum tapping. Next thing you know, you see 4 drum majors come out on 4 Skywalkers. They all got the SWAT tactical gear,
Right, right.
And they came out. The band started playing "Bad Boys, Bad Boys, Bad Boys." What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come? And they did a little, their little routine for that, and did their little melt back, and their Hornet lean back, and that was it. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. I had never seen nothing like that before. It was unique, and they put their stamp on it. So if anybody say there's an original, they can't say Alabama State did it first. It was pretty dope. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was sitting there like, wow. And the band directors came out first. So, we've been in the band for a while. I've only seen a couple band directors actually get involved with the show, like out on the field. I've seen Gramblin's director, Planell, he'd go out there and play his little solo, and when Oliver came out there, it was like, to me, just looking at it, it was more of a, hey, this is personal. You feel what I'm saying? This is to me, this is the Magic City Classic. I'm coming out here on a Skywalker on a 50 in front of 64,000 people. This is personal. So I was like, wow, that's how I took it. I mean, but who am I? So, but anyway, it was dope, man. And you can't help but you can't knock that. It was a nice gimmick. It really was. And some people like gimmicks, some people don't.
But yeah, that's the main thing though. Like you said, I mean, if you like it or not, the main thing all of us was like, dang, that was tight. Like that's how everybody basically was like, damn, that was kind of tight, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta give them their props for that.
Right, and like I said, I agree with you. A&M, man, and A&M, man, them cats at A&M, man, Mario Warren and Carlton Wright, man, they're producing some great sounds, man. If you listen to their music, it's musicality, man. That's all day long.
Well, that's what's up, man. I got to close out the show. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, contact us so that we can help support your business. We'll post information on our website, post information on our blog, and we'll play your commercial, show your logo during the broadcast, if you will. So contact us so we can help build your business. That's all the show, all the time that we have on the show tonight. Check out the website and donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Thanks for listening. And remember, the lectures you deliver may be very fine and true. I'd rather get my lesson by observing what you do. See you next time.